Isn't it? Now, the future of a Bath busker hangs in the balance tonight after a meeting with environmental health officers in the city. Guitarist Groddler, also known as Happy Graham, has been told by officials that he's breaking the law by using his electric amplifier. He's refused to accept their decision and now faces a £5,000 fine.
I am Groddler, the banned busker of Bath, and I'm banned from using an amplifier.
10:30 this morning and Groddler is protesting his innocence. He's already been served with a noise abatement order and now faces the wrath of the council.
You look wonderful tonight. That's why I have an amplifier.
No sign of an amplifier today. It could be confiscated if it reappears on the city's streets. Despite the order, Grod has continued to use it all through the summer.
I think he should be allowed to because he's a good musician and his songs are good. Best of luck to him.
It depends where it is. If it's where everybody's walking, I don't think it's right.
Grod has put his case on the internet for whoever cares to read about it. Every twist and turn of his noise versus no noise campaign has been flashed around the world. Even the petitions of support are there for all to see. But today was his final chance to put his case.
I had hundreds of people enjoyed the concerts and one or two had complained. Mr. Carter's just going through the motions of what he has to do. He's got a difficult job. But I do feel I'm being sort of discriminated against. But I'm really nice fly, thank you.
Grod's convinced he's right. He says he's no different from many other buskers who sing in the city every day. Over 60 are registered with the council and most abide by the Buskers Code of Practice.
Well, Groddler's been in there quite some time, still no news. If the council decide he has broken the noise abatement order, he could face a maximum fine of £5,000 and £500 for each offence.
So had Grod's protest all been worth it? After a 40-minute meeting with environmental health officers, it seems nothing had been decided.
I feel very much victimised in the situation. I think he's listened to a very loud minority against a very quiet person who the majority of people enjoy hearing play.
But we treat each case on its merits, really, and if we get complaints, we're bound to investigate them.
It could take weeks for Grod to know his fate. He's not alone in being told to keep the music low. But if fined, he'll be the first to pay the price. Ali Bowles, BBC News West, Bath.
That's what you call a one-man band.
I wonder what Grod stands for. Answers on a postcard, please.
Anyway, not really. Anyway.
From the Wolds to the Humber Estuary, the evening news from BBC Radio Humberside.
It's the evening update on BBC Radio Humberside. Blair Jacobs with you. I hope you can stay with me all the way through until 7. A Bridlington-born busker who's found himself at the centre of a noise dispute says he may well return to his roots in Yorkshire after falling foul of the law in the genteel spa city of Bath. Business and marketing graduate Groddler, real name Graham Walker, developed his busking career in order to clear debts he'd run up in a failed business venture. But despite being a big hit with tourists in Bath, Grod's run into trouble with the city's environment department, which has served him with an injunction, in effect banning him from using his amplifier on the streets. Well, Graham, or perhaps that should be Grod, joins me from Bath on the line now. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you.
Which do you prefer first, Graham or Grod?
Well, most people call me Happy Graham, because I'm actually a children's entertainer as well as a busker.
Well, I'll call you Happy then. No matter what your name, Happy, you are a business graduate. Isn't there a more lucrative way you could have thought of making money than busking?
There possibly is, but I also have a Christian commitment that money is not the priority in my life. It's what do you do with your life on these short years you're on the planet? And I found I could entertain people, which is something I enjoyed doing. So to give people pleasure for your job and to receive an income for it, then I felt that's a good business.
What about the people down in Bath, the people that have actually heard you playing? What do they think of your situation?
I think they've let their feelings quite well known. I had over 200 sign my petition within 2 hours when I went to take a petition onto the square. Also, every business in the square signed my petition saying they want me to be returned with my amplifier. They were perfectly happy.
Has there been a court case so far?
I actually took the noise abatement notice to the magistrate's court, and after 2 hours, one of the magistrates walked out when he found I was Happy Graham, because apparently he'd seen my show, and the two remaining magistrates found I had no grounds for my appeal, which seemed very strange with all the evidence and the environmental health office having to retract some of the information he gave as being false. I then tried to take it to the Crown Court, but was ill a week before the trial. I asked for an adjournment, and they requested a doctor's letter. My doctor gladly wrote a letter, and the judge ruled he felt I was well enough to appear, which I wasn't. So I pulled out the court case and then found I was not allowed to reappeal. I couldn't reopen the case. Therefore, I was permanently banned unless I could persuade the council somehow to remove the ban.
This is all very well, but surely the Environment Agency, the Noise Abatement Society, must have some fairly clear-cut proof that the noise levels your amplifier produces does create, in effect, a disturbance.
That is not the case. There's no decibel test or anything. The actual busking code in Bath says you are allowed to use an amplifier as long as you can't be heard 50 metres away and be causing a nuisance. What constitutes a nuisance is purely up to the environmental health officer. If he likes opera and you're singing country and western, that's a nuisance to him. He even admitted to me he only had 4 complaints in 8 months where I played to thousands of people.
So where are you going to take it from here then?
Well, what I'm looking to do now is start performing my concerts on a more professional basis, and I started with Bridlington this last weekend, where I can use my amplifier quite safely indoors and do my normal set, which is a set of ballads, Wonderful Tonight, Starry, Starry Night, those style of songs. But I want to carry on busking, so at the moment what I'm doing is I'm doing sing-along songs like Yellow Submarine and Mrs. Robinson, and getting the crowd to join in to prove I can be more loud without an amplifier. I think people really prefer my ballads.
But do you see the days of busking on the streets of Bath for you at an end?
Not at all. I hope to continue, and also in York where I started. It's a wonderful thing. I know I give a lot of people pleasure, and I enjoy doing it.
Well, good luck with your continued efforts and whatever you're doing. Thanks, Grod, or Happy Graham, or Graham Walker. Thanks very much for your time. Good to talk to you.
Now, a busker in Bath, forced to play unplugged, has now been picked up by the law for his singing. The problem is he's just too loud.
Seems you can't win. And Graham Walker was stopped a couple of years ago from using an amplifier. Since then, he's modified his act and turned up the natural decibels. But it seems even that's too deafening.
Why you talk like Molly to be praised, and you dance like the Asian man.
Is this a little too loud for your tastes? A policeman in Bath thought so and asked Graham Walker to stop busking in Abbey Square.
I stopped. I don't want to break the law, but I told the audience what had happened. Now I'm just trying to make people aware this bylaw seems to be in now. This could kill. Street entertainment in Bath, you might see a fountain out here in a couple of years' time.
Bath has a code of conduct for buskers which bans the use of amplifiers, and it's considering a new bylaw to cut down noise still further.
The visitors certainly like the buskers. I think some of the residents listen to the same performance day in, day out, and possibly get a little tired of it.
Graham Walker used to play a set which consisted of love songs, sung gently with an amplifier. When he was banned from using the amp, he started his new act, singing with his voice alone, but hiking up those decibels. But after his latest encounter with the policeman, the busker's considering leaving the city for good. He's been told that York would welcome him and his amp with open arms. Rachel Royce, HTV News, Bath.
When you're alone in your bed.